You know what I find fascinating? I find the simple things of life to be fascinating. For example, this block of wood. If you take a good look at it, it is just a block of wood. But when you take a good look at it, especially the patterns, I mean, I might have to shoot some close-ups of this pattern just to show you how intricate it is. And to think, this is simply a product of nature. It's a block of wood and a product of nature. Yet, an artist painting this could probably fetch a lot of money because it is so beautiful. I live a very modest life and I enjoy myself by making videos. A lot of my videos are very silly, but that's okay. That's perfectly okay. People do things like that. They do things that are not sophisticated, perhaps not what the public would like them to do, but they do it because they understand something very, very, very important. And that is, you cannot relive yesterday. No matter how hard you try, you cannot erase it or relive yesterday. And no matter how hard you try, you cannot live rather tomorrow. You may plan for tomorrow, you may anticipate tomorrow, you may fantasize about tomorrow, but you cannot jump ahead to tomorrow. What does that tell you? It tells you that all you have really is here and now. That's it. Do the best you can so that you have no regrets about what you're doing today. And the next thing you need to do is simply to be yourself. Know yourself and to be yourself. Isn't that right? I happen to live, as I said, in a very modest way. I live in a little cottage out here in the woods, and I enjoy the simple things in life. The flowers in my yard, for example, they are sometimes flowers, sometimes they are weeds. In other words, what other people would believe to be weeds. My next simple things in life, of course, is to read. I like to read different books, and I like to hear the thoughts of people who have gone on before. I like to read their ideas, because the one thing that I have learned is that actually every religion is based on somebody's idea, and no one is greater than another. Really, they're not. As I talk about this, I'm going to be showing you pictures of my yard and the flowers I shot today. Hope you don't mind. For you techies who are wondering what exactly did I use to make this video, okay, I use a Canon T3i. It's an old camera. It's a 1080 camera. I would have used a 4K, but really it's not necessary. And I'm using an old Sigma lens, and it seems to be working just fine. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is this. No matter who you are, sooner or later, you're going to go through a bout of depression. Now, that's a personal opinion, but I really believe that. I really believe that we all go through a bout of depression, and that's just the way life is. We are all going to feel our ups and downs. Now, we feel this way because we don't always understand that we control our mind. We sometimes believe that our mind controls us, but that's not true. We control our minds. We cannot always rectify situations, nor can we always predict what's going to happen. But we can always have control of our feelings and our attitude. Okay, that's my personal opinion, and I believe that. When I'm a little down, a little depressed, the one thing that I like to do is I like to go shopping. It's not necessarily what I buy, it's the fun of the shopping itself. Okay? It's the shopping that's important to me. I require very few things, really. But I get a thrill out of shopping. So, because I have no money, I will usually go shopping in the thrift store. Now, before you make judgment about a thrift store, number one, you ought to visit a thrift store, and number two, you ought to try your best to understand the philosophy of a thrift store. It's called a thrift store, but in fact, I like to think of them as recycling stores. I met a man once who said he only wears a shirt 2 or 3 times, and that's it. So his closet is full. Yes, he's a very, very wealthy person, and that's his thing. His thing is to buy and wear shirts. He'll wear them once or twice and never again. So I was privileged to see his closet, and his closet was about as big as my bedroom. But in spite of that, what he does is he donates the shirts to thrift stores. Now, these are not cheap shirts. The man is very, very wealthy. He's a millionaire, and he donates them to thrift stores. People like me will go into the thrift stores and buy shirts that some rich person donated, or a person who cares about recycling. The other thing that I do when I am a little depressed is I go shopping in stores like Aldi. Now, I don't know if you know what Aldi is. Aldi is a store that we have here in Virginia Beach. Today, my shopping list, I just give an example of how I shop. Today, my shopping list was wheat bread. I don't usually eat white bread. Wheat bread, $1.79. 2 lots of strawberries. I love strawberries. 2 extra bricks of cheddar cheese, 8-ounce bricks of cheddar cheese. And then what I did was I bought a half a gallon of whole milk. I don't like 2% milk, and I don't like low-calorie milk. I like whole milk. I also bought a bag of vegetables, which I'm going to use to make some chicken soup later. You know, the vegetables that you buy that has potatoes and all that sort of stuff in it, so that you make a soup. Just put the bag of vegetables in, and that's it. I also bought 2 bottles of wine. Now, I hope you don't label me, because most of the videos I make, I'm drinking something. But I happen to like wine. I like Pinot Grigio. I like Pinot Noir. I like Riesling. As far as red wines are concerned, I like sherry, depending on my mood. But my favorite red wine is port. So now you know. Anyway, so all that was my shopping list today. So my shopping list included the 2 bottles of wine, a bottle of Pinot Grigio, and a bottle of some other wine. Yes. It came up to $21.62. Oh, I know what else I got. I also got a half a gallon of ice cream. Real ice cream. I don't know if you know this or not, but when you go into the ice cream section, a lot of the times you will see that certain things are in the ice cream section, but in fact it is not ice cream. Not. They're called frozen treats. Okay? They look like ice cream, everything, but read the labels. You have to read the labels. If you don't, you'll pick up a half a gallon of, say, Breyer's frozen treat, thinking that it is ice cream. Just a little heads up, okay? So, that was my shopping list. Bread, strawberries, extra sharp cheddar cheese times 2, ice cream, whole milk, vegetables, steamable for chickens and for chicken soup or whatever, and also 2 bottles of wine. $21.62. My hat's off to Aldi. Now, when I make these videos, what I'm actually asking you to do is to watch the videos, make your comments. Now, keep in mind that you cannot make a negative comment that's going to offend me, really. I like comments, positive and negative, especially if the comments are going to be constructive comments, because together we learn. So don't be afraid to add your comments in the comment section, okay? Because like I said, together we learn. Okay, so what's going to happen this afternoon is that I'm going to be reading a lot of books. One of the books that I happen to like is a book by Charles Fillmore. He is Charles and Myrtle Fillmore started the Unity movement, and I think he's a good writer. The book that I'm going to be reading is called The 12 Powers. Now, this is a very interesting book, regardless of your religion. As a matter of fact, if you're a non-religious person, you may understand that even though it is based on Christianity principles, a lot of the principles are very good for self-development. I am not only interested in Christianity books, but I'm also interested in the wisdom of Native Americans. This book I've been reading for years, and every once in a while I'll go back and read some more of it. Black Elk Speaks. It's a wonderful book, and you may want to read it yourself. Again, nothing to do with religion. It's just that Black Elk Speak. The other thing is that even though I have been to a lot of places in America, the book that I really like is a book called Home Revelations. It's written by Mark Usler, and what he does, he goes to different places in the United States and give you a paragraph. For example, Norfolk, Virginia. I'm familiar with Norfolk. Early English settlers named the town after a county in England. Norfolk is one of the oldest communities in the United States. The city is also a strategic naval port, and it is also mile marker number 0 when you travel down the waterways. That's right, the intercoastal waterways. Norfolk is mile marker 0. Most Americans, as you know, came from somewhere else. If they didn't, their parents or their grandparents came from somewhere else. Unless you're a Native American, then you are either an immigrant or the product of immigrants. That's why America is sometimes considered a melting pot. I don't believe, for example, that we need to down immigrants, knowing that almost all of us are immigrants. One of the books that I like to glance at, not necessarily read, is The Story of the Jamaican People. As I said earlier, I was born in Jamaica, but I left in 1960, so you can do the math. Here's the thing. I don't think that any of us have the right, really, to belittle any other nation or countries or immigrants. We don't. Different immigrants come to the United States for different reasons. I can tell you exactly why I find this country to be so interesting. First of all, you don't have to have a college degree to be an educated person. The United States have always had great libraries. They do. So long before the internet, a library card would be free, and you would have access to the library to become as educated as you want to be on any subject that you want to be educated on. Okay? That's number one. After a while, the internet was introduced to people all over the world. With the internet, you have access to all the information in the entire world. Again, you don't have to have a degree to be educated. The point that I'm trying to make is this, that even though you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations removed from your parents and grandparents' heritage, through the internet, you have access to that information. You can go back and you can read about, let's say your heritage is that of the Ukraine. You can go back and you can read about Taras Bulba, and you can look at the costumes of the Ukraine, and you can feel a pride in your heritage. Now, in my case, I am an American of Jamaican heritage. So, some people would call me a Jamaican American. You know, I am not really a fan of labels. What I like is people to understand that I'm an American with a heritage, Jamaican heritage. If I feel proud of my heritage, it is no different than you who feel proud of your heritage. You like your flag, you are aware of your heritage, the history of your country, You are aware of all the good things that has happened to your ancestors and to you. It is basically the fact that you embrace your heritage. Now, just because you embrace your heritage does not necessarily mean that you do not agree with, nor do you go along with the idea that you're going to be insulting somebody else's heritage. You've got to understand this. Heritage is extremely important. With me, embracing the West Indian heritage is simply embracing who I am. A West Indian, as you know, is a person of many different heritages, if you will, different cultures. West Indians are usually African American, Indians, Chinese, Syrians, Jews. In one country, in Jamaica, they felt it necessary to say, out of many, one people. And in Jamaica, it's not just a motto, they actually believe it. Most Jamaicans do. The modern guys, the modern teenagers and so forth, they have perhaps reached out to other cultures and they are adopting other cultures as they see fit to do so. Well, that's their choice. The point I'm trying to make is, don't fall into this trap of insulting other heritages only because you think it's the right thing to do. It never is to insult somebody else's heritage. After all, if you live here, you're all Americans, aren't you? So, that's my chit-chat for today. And I hope that you will find yourself in your own backyard, and that you will enjoy your backyard, and that you will pick up a book, learn something. This book by Rabbi David A. Cooper, for example, God is a Verb. This book is amazing. Amazing book. The good rabbi did a very good job in writing this book. Anyway, read something, learn something about other people's heritages, and is that a word? Heritages? About the heritage of other people, and also make it your business to learn about belief systems from different people. Of course, there are about 5,000 different belief systems, but they all have something to offer. You don't have to embrace any of them. They're all made up by inspiring people, creative people, people with imaginations, and they all have something to offer, right? All right, until next time.